Okay, welcome back to the Meridian Sports Show live on 107 Meridian FM. I'm very pleased to have Crawley Wasps manager Dave Cole on the show. Good evening, Dave.
Hi, Jay. How are you?
Very good, thank you. Welcome to the show. It's been a while. We've promised to get you on at some point. We have you on the show now, so it's really good to have you on the show. Let's kick off with how lockdown 2, we're all getting through it at the moment, not quite so much longer to go now. But how's it affected you and the girls at the club?
Yeah, obviously it's affected us like everybody else. You know, the girls have got themselves to quite a peak, you know, in the games and all that. And then obviously it's like going from all to nothing, like, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But yeah, we caught up with everybody last week and that, see how they're getting on. I'm very lucky in that we got 3 good S&C people, 2 of them being players, and obviously Jordan as well. And they've taken on sort of seven players each, and then obviously tracking how they're doing and stuff and keeping in touch and that. So, you know, and then all the info getting sent to me and the coaches so we can just make sure everybody's keeping themselves where they need to be.
That's really good. And how have you worked it during this second lockdown? Have they got individual training programs or?
Yeah, they have. They've all been sent something individually sort of thing. And then obviously all the stuff that they've done then gets sent back to the S&C guys, who then like put it all together and send it to me and the coaches. So yeah, it works well for us.
Have you had to pick up on any players that might not be doing what you hope they would? Not naming any players, of course.
I think the strikers have been a little bit shy at the moment, sort of thing. Like, you know what I mean?
That's strikers for you, though, isn't it?
Nikita, but yeah.
No, good stuff. Let's quickly pick up on the season so far. Obviously, it's been disrupted, but how have you felt since you've obviously taken on the role at the club as manager? But the season so far, it's been okay, hasn't it?
Yeah. I'm pleased where we are at the moment. You know, obviously, like I said, after we came up the wrong end of the MK Dons game and that, you know, I knew just losing one game wasn't going to make a difference. You know. Reiterated that to the girls, you know. I mean, this, as everybody's reiterated to, that the Southern League has strengthened. All the teams have strengthened, you know. So to see yourself going through a season without dropping any points is not going to happen.
No.
I think those days have gone now. You know, you're not going to get a team going there and suddenly hit the ground running, i.e. like we've done, you know, previous in other seasons. But you were never going to do it in this league. I'm pleased.
It's very competitive, isn't it? I've noticed that this season particularly. I mean, I'm not saying it's different to any other season, but I think we've seen it across all the divisions completely. It's been very open, I think, in a lot of divisions, and it's the same for the division you're in as well.
Yeah, absolutely. As we've been saying, you know, sort of certain players have been filtering down the leagues. You know, you've had some youngsters who've been sitting on the bench in the WSL and that. They've now decided that they want to kick their careers on, right? You know, so maybe some of them have dropped into the championship, and hence we've seen championship players drop to us, you know, so which is great. So it's great for the whole structure because it is getting stronger and stronger.
Yeah. How's the step up to Gaffer been for you this season? Obviously, your first season in charge of the first team at the club. How's it felt for you?
Yeah, I mean, I've enjoyed it. I mean, you know, I'm really pleased that the board showed, you know, faith in me to take it on and stuff like that, you know, to keep it going, the continuity of the players, you know, because obviously I knew the players. I think the only hard thing that I did was there were certain things within the group that I thought needed changing, as in personnel, if we were going to continually push the sake. So obviously last year we were the unknown quantity in that league, and to be fair, you know, and other teams have admitted it to me, we took you a bit lightly and then suddenly realised, oh, you know, your thing is, do you know what I mean? So, you know, with everybody strengthening, we needed to strengthen. So it meant moving a few players out and being honest with them. You know, I was totally honest with them, you know, about how much game time they were expecting or they would get this season. So, you know, this is why the squad's evolved to what it is now.
I mean, there was a lot of comings and goings in the close season. I mean, it wasn't a normal close season, as we know, due to what's happened this year, of course. But a lot of comings and goings. I mean, have the new additions settled in pretty well?
Yeah, I think we're there now. I think we're there now. You know, the last 2 games when we've played Watford and Portsmouth, you could see that knit that you want from new players with existing players is there, But for me, the greatest foundation we've got is I never had any intention of changing the back four. I didn't want to change that back because that back four have been working together now for nearly season and a half, 2 seasons, and they know how each other click and that sort of thing, So, once you've got that, you can build forward, stuff like that. So that's why it was done.
Definitely. Obviously, upheaval as well for you guys from playing at East Grinstead Town last year, moving to Hawley Town, which seems to have been quite seamless for you. And obviously, East Grinstead were great to you last year. Hawley Town are proving to be just as good to you this year. How's it been?
Yeah, fantastic. I mean, Richard was really good with us at East Grinstead and welcomed us and stuff like that sort of thing. But, if I'm truly honest, being like a bit of a nomad club where we haven't really got our own ground at the moment, and with East Grinstead starting an under 23s, I always felt if we got to this period in the season, November, December, January, February, where the grounds get a bit heavy, with them having 2 main senior teams, and if it was 50-50, his arm wouldn't be turned so much this year, But we went to Mark, and Mark was fantastic. When you walk into a club and you really feel like, actually this guy's really genuine. He wants us here, and that's why I think it's been as seamless as it has been. Yeah.
Is there any plans for the future for you? Obviously you mentioned about being a bit of a nomad club. Moving around a little bit. Some fans have almost said that you should be in Crawley. Obviously, you're closer to Crawley now, being at Hawley Town. You're moving that way. Are there any plans to have your own ground in the future, or is it going to continue like it is, for the short term?
Yeah, I mean, we've signed with Hawley Town obviously for this season. With ongoing discussions towards the end of next season, obviously this season with future seasons. But, I'm really hopeful. I mean, they've got ambitious plans. As you can see, their men's first team are doing very well, and they've got ambitions of going to the Ryman League and so, hopefully it can be a knitted thing and there could be a future here.
Does it impact a team, from not having your own home ground? I mean, because a lot of teams generally get to know a pitch and know how a pitch plays, as their home pitch, and a lot of time teams can take advantage of that. Has that been a negative for you guys, or have you not really noticed it?
No, for me, it's not been.
No?
Unfortunately, I lost my away record when we lost to Oxford the other week. That's the first away game I'd lost since I've been at the club.
Wow, yeah.
You know what I mean? So, do you know what I mean?
That says a lot. Yeah.
And obviously, I was a bit disappointed, obviously, with the Oxford game and that, but, losing that sort of thing. And they said, well, good job it's Oxford and not somebody that you didn't really, you would expect you to have beaten and lost, like, you know what I mean? Yeah. So on that score, I don't think it really affected us that much. Do you know what I mean? I think the girls, sort of adapt quite quickly to these certain games. I mean, we train at Horsham on their lovely 3G there. So, obviously other teams have got their 3Gs and stuff like that. Yeah. So we are getting the benefit of grass and 3G. So I don't think it's troubling us that much.
Good. And you touched on the Oxford defeat there. Obviously, everybody was disappointed with that defeat and the manner of the defeat. But the girls have responded brilliantly since then, haven't they?
Yeah, I mean, the Oxford game, I've got to be honest, there was 8 minutes to go and it was 1-1, and I was thinking to myself, we don't look in danger. We look nice and tight and that. Yeah. And I'll be happy with the point here. It'll be a very good point because Oxford are going to be up there at the end of the season, no doubt about it. They've done really well. Again, another club that's recruited very well and that. So I was really pleased. And then, I'm not one to dig officials out or anything like that. But unfortunately, if you see the goal that they scored, their second goal, it was from a free kick. The ball had come out and the last striker was the other side of Darcy, because I've seen it on the Vaio and stuff like that. And yeah, unfortunately, the linesman's got caught watching the game, I think. And then, unfortunately, with 8 minutes to go, 2-1 down, you've then got to chase the game sort of thing. And that's why we lost 3-1. But so that was the disappointing thing for me, that I just felt that, we were quite comfortable. and I'd taken a point. But, you know, these are things that happen in football. So, you know, you just have to get on with it.
Yeah, I've seen rumblings. We follow a lot of you know, women's clubs, and you know, I don't want to put you in a difficult position here, but there's been a lot of comments around the quality of the refereeing and officials in the women's game. Is that fair, or is that just, you know, a lot of frustration from clubs?
Yeah, I think if I'm honest, you know, and I hope no one shoots me down on this, is, you know, the biggest problem the FA, I think the FA have backed themselves into a corner because they want to encourage more female referees to do female games. And unfortunately, I think they're pushing some of them too quickly, you know, because, I mean, the guys at our level and up are senior players. They played at a high level and everything like that. And do you know what I mean? They expect the same for the referee. And sometimes the referee can, there's situations where you feel, do you know what I mean? You haven't quite made the right call there, you know, which creates other things going on in the game and that, you know. But hey, we're all here, and you know, we all learn every week, so you know.
Well, I mean, the women's games come on so quickly over a short period of time, and you know, like you mentioned there, the FA are you know, pushing, you know, female officials into the game. But it puts them into a very difficult position as well, I think, if you know, if they're not experienced. But again, I guess on the flip side, if they aren't given the experience, then they're not going to learn and be like that. So it's a really difficult one, I think, you know, from seeing a lot of clubs, you know, saying things they have, and I think officiating across the country, across Europe even, is high profile anyway, whatever level you're at. So it's a difficult one, isn't it?
Yeah, I think, and obviously, like I reiterated to just a minute ago about the VAOs now, you know, most of these clubs have now got these cameras and can do the analysis and things like that. And there's certain situations that obviously they have to make that split-second decision. Whereas in, you know, the Premier League and everything like that, they can stop the game, speak to someone, and blah blah blah.
Yeah, and still get it wrong.
So, yeah, I get where the referees at our level are. You know, you have to make that decision.
Yeah, totally frustrating from your perspective, but you know, it is what it is at the moment. Just picking up on last weekend, actually, the women's football weekend, I thought was a very good initiative, and we got involved as well. Obviously, the club Crawley Wasps got involved. Is that something that was planned for a while? Do you know, across women's football?
Yeah, I mean, our media guys are very good. You know, they do a great job for the club and stuff like that sort of thing. I don't get too involved in that, you know. Like I say, to do. Yeah, well, I wouldn't say I've got enough to do, but what we do at our club is that certain people got certain roles, you know, and they have people they can bounce off to do things, you know what I mean? So hopefully it's coming across in the right way, like, you know what I mean? You know,
totally agree.
Because I don't know if a lot of people know, but when I first came into the club, I was very pro about manoeuvring the youth system at Crawley Wasps. You know, when I came, they had 2 youth teams, you know, and now we've got, somebody will kill me for this, but I think we've got something like 7 or 8 teams now, you know, plus like the minis and stuff like that. And I get such a buzz now on a Sunday morning, you know, before I go to Hawley or something like that, I'll pop down to US and see all the youngsters playing and all that. Really gives me a sense of, you know, greatness about the club, you know.
Yeah, and I think the good thing about the media guys is, what I've noticed across the social channels, is that they don't just stick with the first team. They cover all of the teams, you know, all the way down to the development sides, and that's really good. A lot of clubs miss a trick with that kind of thing, and I think, you know, some of the younger players in the smaller age groups, you know, get a bit of a buzz out of social media and being mentioned and that kind of stuff. So I think that's a really, really good approach. Just moving on quickly, how are you feeling about the next set of fixtures you've got? Because obviously the lockdown, you know, we're into latter stages, second lockdown. How's it going to work for you in terms of getting the players back training? Are you going to have like a week leading into a next fixture, or is it less than that?
Yeah, so the lockdown finishes, obviously, we all hope on the 2nd of December.
Fingers crossed, yeah.
So I think what we're talking about, I don't even know what day that is. Is that a Wednesday? Yeah. So on that Wednesday, we will train. That we will train. We'll get sort of a little bit of an idea, but the Sunday will obviously be a bit of a pre-season, if you like, on the Sunday to find out where the girls are and stuff like that. And then we have a game on the Friday, a county cup game against, sorry, on the 13th we play Plymouth, which is a game at home, obviously, which is good to get back into. So we would have had 3 or 4 sessions going into that game. So I would imagine that it won't be too much problem. And then we're supposed to play Lewis on a Friday night in the County Cup. And then again, obviously, there's due a game on the 20th, but we're just about to find out who we've got or who we haven't got, you know.
Excellent. So you have a few sessions before you get back into it, which is good. I was wondering whether the lockdown kind of finishes middle of that week, and you have a game ready for that weekend. To say that wouldn't be ideal, but
well, it's quite funny because Cardiff have actually emailed all the teams and to say, like, you know, we're happy to come and play it that weekend, and because they've come out of lockdown now, I'm not surprised they've been asking teams to play to fulfil their fixtures. You know,
yeah, exactly.
But you know, it's hard for Cardiff because obviously they've had this lockdown, so they missed the games previous and everything like that. So they've got a lot of catch up to do. You know, so you're hoping and praying that we don't get the weather like we had last year for sure. Otherwise, I think we're going to be in a few problems.
Yeah, no, totally right. Before we head off, Dave, I just wanted to ask you quickly if there's any football fans listening to the show and haven't been to a women's football match. You know, how would you encourage them to go along?
Well, for me, I mean, it's like a few friends I've said, you know, people I used to play with and that sort of thing, are very old school and that, and like, women's football and that, and they're still saying, and I said, listen, you know, just sit down, watch it and take it for what it is, you know.
Exactly.
And now a lot of people's perceptions are like, I really enjoy the women's games, you know. There's none of this rolling about on the floor. They take a hit, they'll get back up and they'll carry on and all that. And it's so much more enjoyable, you know. But I would just say to people, you know, come and give it a chance, you know, just come and have a look, you know, and I think you'll be surprised. I think you will be surprised at the level.
I think you're right. That's exactly what we say to people, in that, you know, don't expect it to be anything like Premier League men's football, because it's a different game entirely. It's still football, but it's different, and go and enjoy it for what it is. You know, we have done for several seasons now. So, look, Dave, I wish you all the luck for the rest of the season. It'd be great to have you back on at some point later on in the season as we go, hopefully in the studio. We don't know how things are going to work out. It'd be great to have you in the studio to come and chat to us, you know, in person. But good luck. Stay in touch with us. We'll keep sharing all the stuff on social media, and we'll keep in touch with the media guys and share all the news on the show. But Dave, thank you very much. Stay well.
Yeah, thanks very much, mate. You know, I appreciate coming on, and thanks for all you do for the club and that. You know, having some of the players on and stuff like that on your show. Really appreciate it. It's good. It's good stuff.
Real pleasure. We'll keep doing that as well. Thanks, Dave. Speak to you soon.
Cheers, Jay. Thanks, mate.